And we are recording. Okay, so like I said, we'll try and keep this kind of short and sweet, but I do have some questions. And so Kim is out tonight. She won't be here because she wasn't feeling good. And but she did say that she has started working on the thing that she's doing for Sunday, I believe. And Hanneke is on that section as well. So make sure that you two communicate and get together and work that out. If you need help from me or need something from me, just let me know. So my first question is, how is everybody feeling about the progress of the project?
I feel like it's doing fine. I feel like for the most part everybody's been doing what they need to do.
I agree.
Yeah, I think we're doing pretty good. I think we're like halfway there, right?
Yeah.
And
I feel like we're all sticking to our timeline that's not in our proposal.
Exactly, our timeline that's not in the proposal. Yeah, so I do think it's there. Me personally, I have fallen a little behind on certain things, but I'll dig through it and catch up. Good. So then, Hanneke and Kim have the learner analysis due on Sunday. The other thing I was going to say to Hanneke and Kim, if Easter becomes an issue for you, that you have things on Easter that you're planning on doing, I know we have a timeline, we're strict, but that is a holiday. If you celebrate that holiday and you need an extra day, go right ahead and take that extra day. And then the week after that, Hanneke and I have the contextual analysis. So we'll get together for that. Does anybody have any questions for Hanneke or Kim?
No, I'm trying to. My internet's
Okay.
whirling around.
So it doesn't say learner analysis in Kim's section on the fourth page. It's in Brian and Hanneke's section.
Me. Okay, so what is due this Sunday?
This Sunday is the summative.
No,
I did the summative and the formative, so.
Right, but that's what's due this Sunday. Next Sunday is the learner analysis. Then the following Sunday is the contextual analysis.
okay, so learner analysis is Hanneke and Brian. Okay, so if you two can get together on that and work on that.
I wonder if Kimberly was talking about.
Because what I see is that, and you are correct on that. She is on types of learning
Yeah.
and implementation. There.
The tab. I'm gonna do this. Learning objective is done, right? For the most part. I mean, we can always make changes and whatnot.
Yes.
Can't we? Isn't there a way to strike through words on here?
I have no clue.
Let me check. not all the way out. Since you can't.
Okay, so we will add. We'll try and figure out a way to get that so it's a little more clear, so everybody knows exactly what they're working on there. So, and I asked, does anybody have any questions for Hanika or Kim? Anything?
Alt Shift 5 for strike through.
I have a Mac. Needs
Oh,
analysis is done.
I-
for most of it.
I'm so sorry.
Learning objectives. Oh, not the whole thing. Oh, dang it, I'm doing this in the project proposal, not in the thing.
I got it in ours.
Analysis is done. Learning objective is done. Formative is done. Summative is done, right?
Yep.
Broad goals and big ideas is done.
Yep.
Task analysis is done.
Yep.
Okay. Alright, I crossed through on a page that has our names.
Okay. So here's the next question I have. So Brian and I were working through the formative and summative analysis the other day, and the question came up: what is a module? What are we considering a module? So if you look at the objectives, right? Like the first group of objectives, there's 3 things there. So in theory, according to that, do we need 3 quizzes? Boom, boom, boom. For one for each of those modules.
Yes. I would say we're doing a module on each of the. How many things did were in that list?
Okay. So it's on each objective.
Yeah. Well, I don't think necessarily each objective needs one because, like, the goal 3 and goal 4 are like overall. They're not. They're not.
For the module. If you go to the task analysis, I consider the things that I'm highlighting now modules. I thought that made sense. Everything I highlighted in yellow I consider to be a module. So we have 3.
But even like a module would be like learning about each one of those things.
Well, then we have 30.
But I
think we would just have raster and vector graphics, file type, workspace, setting up new projects, selecting, layers, masks, image corrections, type, camera raw, adjustments, brushes, actions, and painting, and composition. So that'd be 13.
Okay, so but that doesn't mean we need a for our assignment for our group project that we're turning in. We don't need a quiz for each of those, correct?
Right, exactly. We don't have to make every single one. We can just say that we would.
Okay, so
We're
just
taking a sample.
so we just need like a couple of them, and then we'll be good.
Right, just like 2.
Okay,
A quiz about raster and vector graphics and a quiz about file type. or layers, or pick your category.
Okay.
We don't actually have to make all of these.
Okay. So, Brian, what I will do, I will go and I will look at the quizzes that you did, and I will try and pull those into doing one for each.
I don't think that's. I think we just said that's not necessary. I already. So with the one that we worked on together, that was 12 questions.
Right.
I already split it up into questions that would fit the categories that are highlighted in yellow. I think for in semantics, I don't think it really matters what we call a module, but if we want to call it the Lauren said, I think that makes perfect sense too. And we already have places that align to it, I guess. We would just kind of combine them, rearrange the questions,
Okay.
Well, because your end of the module surveys that you have, like, those are fine. And then your formative evaluation end of module, I mean, we could just even, I feel like it's broad enough that we could say that it would be modified for the individual modules. Does that make sense?
It does. I truly don't think any of it really is a world of difference. I think it's just a matter of making sure everything is in alignment from how we're using the terminology. I don't think it really truly matters what we call modules as long as we're consistent with what the module is throughout the project. So if we think it's more consistent to do it based off of the first indented numbers, the 1.1 to 1.2 connected. We can call that a module and go with that.
Okay.
But I don't know, maybe.
See, I sort of feel like, so the 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, if we're, right, the first one was raster versus vector, second one was like color, and third was something, right? That there was probably a quiz on each of those, but then probably an end of that whole section quiz. Does that seem right?
That's kind of what I envision. Is the other thing is for the formative assessments, if we're calling the 1.2, 1.1, all modules, then that would, it doesn't really matter because this is all just hypothetical and not actually doing this anyway. But that would mean the user would be doing 13 different surveys, like the same survey 13 times, which would be really, like, monotonous for those purposes. But
What
I
do you
guess
think?
I think what Jeff is saying is that we could say in the summit section, or the formative section, there are built-in the built-in questions that aren't like graded. It's just like the check for understanding.
Yeah, knowledge checks.
Knowledge checks in there in the 1.1 and 1.2 that we have to the overall for the sort whatever.
What do you think, Lauren?
I'd almost like, just for terminology's sake, that's fine, but I would almost say, like, the 1.1, 1.2 are modules within section 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we have 3 sections, and then each module has multiple, or each section has multiple modules.
Okay.
Works for me.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I think it is also, basically. Okay. All right. So the next thing I have is, so if you are not working on a section right now, if your assignment's not this week or what have you, my suggestion, my recommendation to you is to work on your reflections. All right? Like, you know you're going to have to do a reflection by the end of the semester. And I thought I saw it gets turned in all at the same time. And I don't know if it gets turned
Or maybe like the week after.
possible.
It's like 3 days later. The final project's due May 7th, and the teen participation final reflections due May 10th.
Okay.
But I'm not sure how in depth that needs to be.
Probably not that in depth.
No, because it's literally just you list your name, each person's name, and then you give them a score of 0 to 4 on whether they participated, and then put comments about each person. And then you write about 3 key understandings you gained, most difficult concept you encountered, concept you most easily grasped, and how you envision using what you learned in the future. So I feel like, to me, that's like, and it says 1,200 to 1,500 words.
Okay. So,
So that's like a couple page reflection summary. So I don't even think, I mean, you can work on it, I suppose.
I'm just saying, it's just if you have nothing to do that week and you want to work ahead and get your stuff done, because we only have 3 assignments left in this class.
Right.
We have the
Yeah.
project, we have the reflection, and we have whatever is due next week or something, right? So that's it. So I'm just saying, there's something to work on to get done.
Definitely. Don't worry, Jeff. I'm not looking for extra stuff.
I understand that. I'm not looking for it either. Okay, so this was another. I have 2 more questions on my list here. So, how is completion of this? Let's say you're a teacher, right? And you go through. This is what you've chosen to do for your thing. I don't know how teachers work and how this happens with teachers, right? And you go through your thing. How is it acknowledged that you have done this and you've gone through our website and you've finished? Is it a certificate? What is it?
A lot of professional development, there's not like an acknowledgement that you went through it. For as a teacher, for me, like I've sat through so many different seminars and different things. Nothing to like this extent where I would have gone through multiple different like modules, but I feel like we could like do like a certificate type of thing if we wanted to, but I don't think it's necessary.
So you don't have to prove something to your principal.
I don't think so.
When I went through the stuff to become an Apple certified teacher, they made us do this. They gave us a certificate for each module that we completed, and once we completed all of them, we were Apple certified or whatever. And then just like on like from the school's end, whenever we complete professional development, we have to like go through like a staff portal thing where we have to sign up for the development through a program called Frontier Frontline. You guys do that too? Yeah, so we just sign up for that, and then when we're done, we submit it to the same development.
Yeah. But there's nothing put out saying this person completed this.
Okay. So what are your feelings? Do we need to do anything? Do we not need to do anything?
I don't think it's a requirement.
I don't think so. I think the way that at least I wrote the needs analysis section, like we're creating this for a school district who asked us to create it because they felt that there was a need for their teachers to learn Photoshop. for graphic design. So I feel like the district is asking us to design this for their teachers, so there's not necessarily like a reward or award at the end for doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not, me personally, I'm not, I think giving out a bunch of certificates all over, they're everywhere, right? And they're not always, worthwhile. But I just didn't know if you guys had to show proof. So if you don't have to show proof, then.
I mean, I feel like the way that it would be like, kind of like Brian just said, like the teacher would say, I completed this, and they would fill out like a survey, which would be sent to the district
Okay.
to prove that they did it.
Okay. And so then upon that, on one of the objectives, there was on the compositing, right? Do you know what compositing is, Lauren? No. Okay. So, yeah, it's on the quiz. Brian and I schooled him on it. So you go through and you learn all of these skills, right? As you're going along. Then you come to compositing. Compositing is just basically taking everything you've learned and you create a picture out of nothing at all, right? You go get a little something here, something there, and you pull it all together and boom, there you go. So that's what that is. And so on the objectives, one of my questions was, do we need a rubric for this? And because that's how it would be taught in a classroom, right? You have a rubric, and you have to show where you have created layers. You have to show where you've adjusted color. You have to show where you have done this. But I don't know who would grade that. Who would turn that? I mean, this is just a website, right?
In the summative thing, I said that there would be, I was under the impression that this was like a website put together by like people working for the district, and that there would be individuals that they would like kind of just send it to their Dropbox like type deal, and then they would grade it and send it back.
Because I mean, somebody has to like grade the quizzes if they're not all multiple choice. Somebody has to.
Well, that actually, no, because you can use an Adobe Captivate module that will grade the quizzes, and if you don't pass it, it will kick you right back to the beginning of the module, or wherever you want them to go and relearn the stuff. So nobody has to grade the quizzes, but somebody would have to grade a rubric.
I don't see a problem with just saying that there's instructors. It could even just be like, you're a professional development team developing the software that the school solicited, and it just goes to some schlump's box, and then they just check it.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Because I feel like if you were going through this and you had a question, I feel like there's somebody you would send a question to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if I have professional development, it's normally not just like a website. There's a person associated that I can go to and ask additional questions or get help if I don't understand what is on there.
So if it's a professional development, does that mean that like one of you could create a professional development program for all the other teachers?
I can in my district.
It's encouraged.
Oh, okay. So
But
they
they can solicit outside groups, which is what I envision this is, where like they say, hey, let's bring in this outside group that really does this.
Right. Yeah.
okay.
And they would like
like if they solicit like an outside group, then sometimes they'll like ask for a person or two who feels like they're like an expert and can help that group within the like district.
Okay. All right. So then the only other question I really had, because I'm halfway through reading the needs analysis. So we're basically saying that we're an outside group that was hired by Kansas City school districts, and we're going to build this program for them.
Right, and that was my understanding from like our reading and stuff.
Okay.
So that's what I went with.
You have time to do the reading? Really?
Not all of them.
You're a nerd, girl. I'm kidding. Yeah. I have an analytics class this semester, and I have to there's so much reading, and I can't do it. It's horribly boring. Horribly boring. Anyways, okay. So, do either of you have any questions, any thoughts, anything you'd like to bring up?
So I think we should just like maybe go through Heineke's comments real quick on that needs analysis section. So he did make a comment about if we needed to have a specific school or be more broad. So I think we need a specific thing because for a needs analysis you are sending out surveys to the group that's supposed to be using it to verify what needs are there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I personally think like a specific group needs to be attached to it.
Okay. And I'm fine with that too.
And we can change the name. Like I said, when I wrote it, since it was the first section that needed something like that, I just threw my own school district in there. The numbers that I threw on there have nothing to do with my school district. My school district's like 8 times larger than what I wrote about, but okay, so I'm going to mark that comment as resolved then. We're good with keeping that. He said he has a thought. Would we need to also add a questionnaire to try to figure out what are the technology tools available and if they can actually run Photoshop? So I again feel like if a district is asking us to do this, then they would already know that they have access to Photoshop.
Well, but maybe that's a questionnaire for our principal.
There is a questionnaire for administrators.
And perhaps that's where that belongs, right? Because if you know that your school does not have that available.
But if it's like, my thought was if the district is asking us to do it, then they are going to provide that technology. They wouldn't ask you to do a module on Photoshop and not provide that technology.
Okay. Okay.
That was my thought, at least.
No, I can get behind that.
Okay. So we're gonna mark that one as good too. Then you said I do think that some schools have ability to use Photoshop in the classroom. Yeah. So like I'm assuming that since North Kansas City School District is asking us to do this module, they have that technology, which my district does, but I know that not every district does, but if they're asking us to create a module on it, then they would.
Do both of your schools have Photoshop? Lauren, you just said yes?
I have the whole Adobe suite.
The whole suite?
I do as well, but not. They only have they bought like a package of like X number of subscriptions, and they always have extras. So if you ask for it, they can get it.
Okay.
But
And do the students have access to any of this?
the ones that are in Photoshop, in
Is it the same for you, Lauren?
I'm not sure because that would be more like high school courses that would use that. Our kids have access to like Sketchbook, which I know is kind of similar. Doesn't have all of the things that Photoshop does, but so they use that a lot. But I'm sure the kids that have like graphic design classes probably do have access. Yes.
Okay. All right. So that it probably clears up any comments that I have that I went through. They're getting cleared up. So.
Okay. All right. So then again, he made another comment about just writing this to focus on one school district. So that is yes. So we're just this module is focusing on one group that asked us to create it. We're not creating it for the whole world.
Yeah.
But we could use it for the whole world, but in the creation of it, we're creating it for the school district.
Okay.
All right. For expectations, he said this is important. Our school is also highly influenced by administration expectations and changes many things for us. Okay, so that's just like a positive comment. It looks like because there is a survey for administrators to say what their expectations for their teachers' use would be, which would be where like our learning objectives and what we wrote in that came out of.
So then my next two questions, I haven't looked through the appendix yet. So I was just asking if we had the surveys. That's basically.
Yes, they are in the appendix.
Okay. Then I will.
Mark yes on that.
All right.
Yep, and if we scroll down, it says Appendix 1.1 Survey Questionnaire for Teachers, Appendix 1.2 Survey Questionnaires for NKC Administrators, which are on like page 50 or something. I don't know. All right. Heineke's got one more. We could make this to be more specific. So the only thing with making that more specific is we could make it more specific as grade levels to make sure that we get different perspectives. I don't necessarily think it's necessary. Since it says each of the 12 schools and the 12 schools were ranged from elementary to high school, so I feel like we are going to get a range anyway.
Okay.
And I feel like making it a random sample is always good.
I'm fine with that.
Right.
I can't imagine a grade school teacher necessarily implementing but I could be completely off base on that. Implementing Photoshop into grade school unless they're creating materials for their students.
I agree.
I mean, I know grown adults who struggle with Photoshop, so.
I agree.
Okay. And that's as far as I've gotten, basically.
So, the interviews, which they got the formatting got messed up a little bit, so we'll have to fix it once, because every time somebody adds a new page, it like shifts stuff down. So we'll have to like rearrange some stuff to make it fit and look nice when we're all done. But the needs analysis appendix A starts on page 31 with the survey questionnaire for NKC teachers, and then there's the survey questionnaire for NKC administrators, and then there's the interview questionnaire for NKC teachers and the interview questionnaire for NKC administrators.
Okay. So I'm sorry. What what exactly is messed up on as far as because
It doesn't look like just like one of them has take your time on the next page when it's supposed to be popped up. That's it.
okay.
Is all I was meaning. But when I think it was good when it made it, but somehow it's gotten off. But I'm not gonna sit here and try to fix it when it's just gonna get messed up with people adding stuff. We can wait and format all that
Right.
freaking nitpicks in.
Right. I've just been going through and reformatting like headers. That's about it. Just to keep the table of contents looking correct.
Yeah.
But after that, I haven't touched it. So, okay. Does anybody have anything else that they want to review tonight?
Like I said, I looked through the summative and formative sections. I think they look good. I didn't have anything that stood out that was missing.
Okay. Brian, do you have anything else that you want to?
Nope, I'm just going through our thing and clearing up any discrepancies between what's a module and what's a section. So if I just finish that, I just need to open up my Google Forms and rename them section quizzes instead of module quizzes. Oh, and I'll add something into the summative assessment sections, and they'll also be knowledge checks that aren't graded for our code. Technically, they're performative assessments, but the Pensivist project formative assessments are for formally assessing how good our thing is, not how well a person's doing.
Right.
So I will do that before I forget. It's coming out great.
Okay. Then that's all I have. So, if anybody,
Do we need to put together a rubric?
I can do that.
Either
I'll do that.
Rubric for what?
I might actually have an old one from someplace that I went to school at on Photoshop.
I made a rubric for the grading.
Oh, you did?
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
The appendix. It's like one of the very last ones. It's kind of clunky because of the way I have it directly in line with our learning goal for 4.2 and 4.3, I think it was. But there was 10 different criteria that we were looking for, but they only needed 4. So I said it's out of 8 maximum, but you could, in theory, get more. Doesn't matter. It still makes sense. It's not
Okay. I will take a look at that.
Yeah. That was fine, I think. Yeah, after I looked at like the first 2 surveys, I didn't continue.
Yeah, the appendix section can get a little monotonous.
I was like, okay, those look good.
Yeah. And, yeah, there's I just went through the checklist for the summer performing, but I looked at the example and I made sure it's set up similar. And I looked at the checklist and I made sure we checked every box performance. Multiple assessments, we had key questions that we're focused on.
I think this rubric is simple, but I think that gets the job done.
Yeah, and if you were trying to do this with, 30, 40, 60 teachers.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Alright, cool.
All right.
I think that was all the comments in our side thing for the most part. You asked if we needed the last section of the broad goals and big ideas.
Yeah, I keep coming back to that, and I keep sort of thinking, it just seems annoying.
Well, of course, because, well, I don't know. I feel like people say the teachers are going to sign up for it, or we don't necessarily have to put that, because we could imply that all of the teachers in North Kansas City are going to be asked to do it. And
So
I
they,
agree. I don't think we necessarily need that paragraph
yeah, because I just
on there and keep thinking about it.
I just don't know that we need it per se.
I agree.
So that was it. Okay. Then that's all I have. Anybody else?
Good.
Good?
I'll update the surveys tomorrow. I actually just realized I did it last
All right, no big whoop.
Not done anywhere.
All right. If anybody needs anything from me, just let me know. Send me a text, send me an email. I don't really care. Group me, whatever. Other than that, everybody have a good weekend. I'm gonna watch this Zack Snyder cut of whatever that.
Heinke's working on the learner analysis with side help with grammar.
I'll reach out to them and see what
Okay.
I'm a night owl, so I'll stay up
And then, Heineke and Jeff are on contextual analysis after that.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Everybody have a good weekend.
Yep.
All right. Bye.